Today, I'm giving myself 6 hours to catch 5 bass that weigh 11 pounds on a lake I haven't seen in 6 years. If I fail, then I'm gonna force myself to eat some gas station hot dogs. Today I'm fishing a lake down in Tennessee. This is a pretty well-known lake that receives a lot of pressure, and I've actually fished a few Bassmaster Opens here in the past. Now, with the short window of time that I had to fish this lake, I decided to put my boat in towards the river portion of this lake and stick pretty shallow for most of the day. As soon as I launched my boat, I noticed a large main lake bluff with a really good shade line on it. So I decided to just idle over to it and start fishing. Alrighty, well, I was just about to run up the river on this lake, and I decided to stop. We kind of have a channel swing bank here ahead of us, and you can see that the sun is pretty much directly overhead. It's just about to be 1 o'clock. And so what that does is it's bringing all these shade lines really tight into the bank. It just makes the strike zone in the area that a bass can be in so much smaller. You know, these fish really got to be within a couple feet of the shoreline here, as opposed to being out further. So, oh gosh, man, how did he miss that? I had him hooked for a split second. That looked like a better one. It's 102. It's literally, we've been fishing for 4 minutes. Already a sign of life, which I'm actually pretty excited about because I got such a late start today. A lot of times when you're fishing more bluffy style walls like what we're fishing right here, there will be a little section where the bass are. They won't be all down it. There'll be just a little small section where the bass are. A lot of times you're gonna find that small section is the end of the bluff, which is pretty normal when it comes to bass fishing. It's a transition. When you go from one thing to another, you have a transition. So at the end of a bluff, either it's gonna flatten out or it just, you know, ends. And a lot of times that can be where the bass are, but the bluff ends are typically pretty pressured. Guys know that bass get there, and no matter what, they'll get there. But sometimes if you can find the little sections along the bluff where the fish are, that is where you can really kind of get away from the pressure and just catch fish that other guys may be not catching. And there can be a number of reasons why the bass get there. If you look right here in front of me, you can see where part of the wall, the bluff, has actually slid down, and it almost creates like a little rock pile. It almost creates a little mini point on the bluff. So it just makes something different. You know, sometimes it's things that you can see, like what we're looking at right now. Sometimes it's just a little shelf where you can't really see it with your own eyes. You may be able to see it with electronics a little bit, but that's where the bass are. So a lot of times with these, it's about covering water. You know, if you have someone in your boat with you, I always highly suggest one guy throwing something fast, kind of like I am right now, and then one guy throwing something a little bit deeper or a little bit slower that gets a little bit deeper. You know, I'm really kind of targeting fish that are relating to the shade line itself, but you might have fish that are 10, 15 foot down, 20 foot down that aren't going to want to come up and hit this bait. So it's always a process of just figuring out what the fish like in that given day on that given hour. Oh my gosh. Come back, fish, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Dadgummit. Saw that whole fish. That was about a 3-pounder. I need to slow down a little bit, I think. Let's try to get that fish later. I'm not saying 100% I'll be able to come back and catch that fish right there, but man, that was a good, probably about a 3-pound fish. Would definitely help me to hit the 11-pound mark. I don't think I have any other colors of this bait, but I might need to switch up my top water because That's 2 for sure keepers, and that was a good one that easily could have got the bait, and they just didn't. I'm getting just enough bites. I was just about to leave, but I was like, I might as well just fish it through because we've only been fishing for about 20 minutes and we've had 2 bites. I marked that fish. I didn't mark the first one, but I marked that fish. Maybe I'll be able to come back and catch him maybe right before we head in for the day, because the boat, I mean, I just started fishing right at the boat ramp. And so, like I do a lot of times when I don't know where to go, I just go to whatever looks good. Whatever I can visually see that looks appealing to me, that is a lot of times where I like to start. This video is brought to you by my apparel company, Fin Fishing. At Fin Fishing, I have one of the only USA-made sun shirts out there on the market. Right now for the month of September 2024, I'm running kind of a package deal. So you can get a USA-made sun shirt, any one of the USA-made sun shirts, and a pair of sun gloves for 60 bucks. So it's basically like getting a pair of sun gloves for an extra $6. So really good deal, and it's really easy. All you gotta do, add the sun shirt that you like to cart, add the gloves that you like to cart, and you will see that automatic discount at checkout. Shopping at Fin Fishing, it's truly the best way to help support the channel. Thank you so much for all of you who have done so. Now, after getting a few solid bites on this bluff, I looked at my map and I saw another main lake bluff just up the way. Bluffs are pretty easy to identify on a map because you're going to see the main river right up against the bank. So I decided to run up to this bluff to see if it wouldn't have a good shade line and maybe I could catch a couple of fish. However, on the way up to this bluff, I happened to look over to my left and I noticed a really good looking willow tree that was in the water. I have actually caught a few fish in the past on willow trees, so I decided to go ahead and fish that quick before hitting that bluff. I hadn't even looked at the lake level, but it definitely is down. I mean, you can kind of look at the shoreline and tell. I mean, even look at that dock over there, you can tell how that is down. Usually that's not great for shallow water fishing, but what it does a lot of times is that bass that are in shallow water that like refuse to leave the shallow water, they're going to be in really confined areas. So before, when the water was high, those bass could be all up in those trees, those willows, those bushes. And now there you can see that there's probably just a handful of really prime areas. You know, this tree that I'm coming up on, maybe some of the trees over there, maybe over there, that are actually in decent enough water that a bass can be on them. So it's trees like this that you can honestly pull up to and catch like a lot of fish. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me right now? Oh my gosh, I thought I was hung in a tree that whole time. Look at that. That's like a 4-pounder, dude. It's gotta be close. Oh, maybe not 4. I got a little excited. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Well, dude, we've been here for 45 minutes. We're trying to catch 11 pounds in about 6 hours, and that is the way to freaking get there, dude. I was just talking about these trees. Let me weigh him quick and then I'm gonna get him back. Are you kidding me? A 407? It is a 4-pounder. 407 to start the day. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Look at that fish. What a beautiful fish. All right, I'm gonna let him go. Thanks, buddy. I'm freaking out a little bit. That is a way to start it. I was honestly a little bit mad after those first 2 fish that were over there on that bluff wall. I missed both of them. The one looked like a good 3-pounder. And then when I was running down the lake out there, and I literally looked over and saw this specific tree. And the reason that this tree caught my eye is because it's a big willow that is in the water, when you see, like I was talking about, there's a lot of stuff that's out of the water. The lake is down, and so these type of areas are where you can, where those fish are really, it's one of the only places that they can go to if they want to stay shallow. And obviously that big 4-pounder, he wanted to stay shallow and pitched up my bait. He was just sitting there with it. It was so hard for me to tell, is that a bass? And I honestly just decided to set the hook. Like, there was nothing, he didn't move. I was just like, I'm just gonna set. So hook sets are free. And then out pops a 4-pounder. Let's go, baby. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. There might be more fish in a tree like that. So I put the Raptors down and I'm gonna pick it apart and we're gonna see. But that's a way to start it. There could 100% be another one in there. This is the best looking piece of cover on this whole section. So I just feel like if there's any bass around, they're gonna be sitting right there. There's another one. Oh my God. Oh. Okay, that is not a keeper. Look how he got hooked. That's weird. On the outside. I don't think that's a keeper. Look how thick that little bass is. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing. He wasn't in the exact same spot as that big one, but he was pretty close. Tell you what, I'm just looking and there's another one of these trees. There's a dock. We're gonna have to flip the dock too. Maybe that's a deal. But there's another tree kind of set up similar up there. Not this one. We'll flip this one that doesn't really have the greeniness to it. But now I'm not really using my Mega Live, but I did want to point out that it's 88-degree water we're fishing right now. And it's the middle of the day. So even in the middle of the day in August, I mean, you can still catch them up shallow. You just kind of have to find the right little cover. I'm hoping that tree over there is gonna hold another, hopefully another big one. Now, after fishing a couple of main lake willow trees, as well as catching that 4-pounder, I noticed that there was a small pocket just up ahead that had several nice looking willow trees in it. So I decided to move over to this small pocket to see if I couldn't catch some more fish in the trees. Oh my gosh. Man, I flipped that in there and I could tell it only sank for like a foot. Picked up and he was swimming off. Set the hook, felt me hook the fish for a split second, then felt it come off and go right into a tree. Man, I'm telling you what, we've only been fishing for an hour and 15 minutes. And we've had 4 keeper bites, so I'm assuming that fish was a keeper. It may have not been. It felt good, but who knows. If I put that 3-pounder in the boat, that's 7 pounds. That other one, maybe 2 2-pounders on top of that. We could have almost had 11 pounds already. But instead we got one. But at least if we're gonna catch one, it was the right one. Oh my God. That was a keeper. Man, I tell you what, I knew I was gonna get bit right there. I think what I need to do is put a little bigger hook on there. I flipped in there and a bluegill or something busted it right off the giddy. And then I pulled it up over kind of the back side of that tree, and all of a sudden my line went slack and he was going about 300 miles an hour out of there. I've been using this X-Zone crawl a lot this year, and I've been catching a lot of fish on them. I mean, a little bit of everywhere I've gone. It's just a good bait to get bites, I guess. This is the Adrenaline Crawl. This is the 309 color, which is more of a bait fishy color. But because this water isn't really muddy, I just kind of like the look of it for this color water. So I'm gonna put a 5/0 hook on, and let's try to land the next fish that gets bit, Ty. After fishing through the rest of the trees in this small pocket and not getting bit, I decided to run over to the bluff that I was originally heading to fish. And after about 20 minutes or so of fishing that bluff without getting a bite, I saw another row of trees on the other side of the lake. So I decided to run over there to see if I couldn't get bit. Now, after striking out on both the bluff and some more willow trees, I decided to make my way to an area that I actually have fished in the past. This is what we call fishing history. And sometimes this can be a really good thing, and sometimes this can be a really bad thing. Oh my. Come on, Ty. I think of five for sure bites that we've had today, I've landed one fish. Not what you want. Right now, I'm probably getting a little bit of a rut because this is actually history right through here. These trees right here is where I caught some the very last time I was here on this lake. So far I've fished nothing but like newer water to me, and I've got bit, and now as soon as I get back to history, bam, no bites, which it's just funny to me. But I don't know, I'm gonna kind of make my way out of here, and then I'm gonna go run some new stuff. It doesn't seem like there's fish in these trees. When I fished this a number of years ago, man, there was, you know, you'd make a pass through this stuff and catch 3 to 5 fish every time. So that is definitely not happening. I mean, as soon as I got that first bite, I really thought maybe it would, but it's just not. I'm gonna fish this one loner tree just because he's all by himself, and then we're gonna keep on moving. I guess this is kind of just a lesson, man. I wasted too much time fishing that stuff. If I had been here for the first time and got bit, I would have fished through that a lot quicker. And that's kind of what history will do, you know. I've caught them there in the past, so you want to recreate that in your mind. And there's a fish. You've got to be kidding me, dude. Oh man, I feel like such a fool. I had a small fray that I was noticing by my reel handle every time I went to flip, and I'm not exactly sure how the fray happened, but it was so far up the line that I was like, you know what, forget it, you know. And that's exactly where that just broke. I set the hook like a maniac. First of all, set the hook too hard. I talk a lot in my videos about the 5% rule, is what I'm saying, is that a lot of tips and tricks and stuff like that you hear on YouTube they're 5%ers. And what that means is that, you know, each one of them a lot of times can help you by about 5%. They will give you a 5% advantage over other people. And while that doesn't sound like a whole lot, if you do 10 of them in the course of a day, 10 of those 5% tips, you may be, you know, 50% better than the average angler out there. And checking and fixing your fray on a line is not even a 5% tip. It's just something we all know to do. And I'm just frustrated with myself at the moment, guys. Wanted to do a little midday update for you guys. We are a little over 3 hours. So we're about halfway through our challenge here. And we've had the bites. We've already had the bites to do what I really wanted to do. And we had several of them in the first hour. And since that first hour, the bite has definitely slowed down. I'm probably just not in the right area. And the few bites that I've had, I've lost like 6 fish or something today. I mean, I've lost almost every fish that I've hooked. And so it's just been tough, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And I was already thinking in my head, like, man, I probably shouldn't publish this, but you know what? This is fishing, you know, and sometimes that we have days just like this. I mean, I'm sure, I know that I've had plenty of days like this. I think it's really important to just remember these days when you are having those good days, because it can flip on you so fast. But hey, we still got 3 hours. We still got plenty of time to catch what we need to. So I'm hoping to change this day around. I'm feeling very low right now, if I'm being 100% honest with you, but we can make this happen. So let's do it. Let's make it happen.
After making a small move up the river, I noticed another small section of trees and I decided to flip them. However, after spending about 20 minutes in this area, I wasn't getting any bites. Across the lake, I could see some more trees and decided to make my way over to them. With it getting so late in the day, I was just hoping to get another big bite or two, even if I couldn't hit my goal weight. Bass fishing is all about decisions, and the decision that I'm about to make ends up being the most critical one of the day. After fishing for several hours without catching any fish and feeling very low because of all the missed and lost fish, I could see some more trees way off in the distance. The only problem was that there was a pretty shallow flat between me and those trees, and with the lake being low and with it starting to get later in the day, I really didn't know if I should risk running aground just to fish more trees. So I initially decided that I was just going to leave and make my way back down the lake. But right when I was about to make that decision, I thought that there was probably other fishermen who have made this same decision in this exact same area. And if that is true, then it has probably kept some of those trees that were way off in the distance preserved from a lot of fishing pressure. So I decided to spend the time and idle across this large flat to get to some of these shallow trees. And it ended up being the best decision that I made all day.
Oh my gosh. Gosh. I feel like I won just because I caught that one. Well, we finally put one in the boat. I'm gonna weigh him real quick and then get him back in. I just poured some Mountain Dew on him. Kind of helped. He got hooked right in the gill. So trying to help him from not bleeding. Let's weigh him real quick. He is a 330. Good fish. Good fish. I'm gonna let him go real quick. 330, baby. Thank you, bud. Man, I made a change. Started fishing a little bit faster, and I made a change in my bait. I went down to I was just kind of thinking that maybe there's been a lot of guys that have come through these trees, and I decided to go with a 1/4 ounce weight and a really small, compact crawl style bait. And that fish got it deep, obviously, and he got it good. So he did swim away all right, but hopefully this might be a little bit of a deal. There's a number of trees right through here, and I'm gonna flip them. We got over 7 pounds. So we can definitely make this happen. Honestly, I wasn't expecting the quality that we've had today. I was thinking more like 2-pounders. But we are just at 4 hours right now into the day. So we got 2 hours left. We can make this happen. I'm feeling confident. Let's get it done. I'm still gonna try to fish through these trees, not like super fast, but not super slow. I don't, you know, that fish gets me excited, and I want to believe that there's a lot more fish here, and hopefully there are, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, I got bit pretty quick over in that other section too, and so if I get another bite here and pretty soon, then maybe I'll really slow down and pick it apart. But man, that water is like a bathtub. That water is almost 90 degrees, 89.1. Oh my God. Let's go. Let's go. Whew. All right, baby. Maybe we can slow down. I don't know, guys. Just got another solid fish right there. He's probably over 2 pounds. I been getting some good quality bites today. Finally putting a couple in the boat. And the water, the biggest difference, let me weigh this fish quick. Oh yeah, 240. 240. Solid fish right there. Solid. So we got 978 with 3. Biggest difference that with this kind of stretch of wood is that the water is a lot more on the muddy side. I've been fishing pretty clean water, even some green water. But right now where we're at, I mean, it's pretty muddy. So maybe that's the ticket. That second I mean, that's my second bite in a pretty small section. So it kind of gives me the ability to really slow down. I got quite a bit more wood here. And man, we're close. I think if we can get 2 more bites, keeper bites, we'll have our goal weight. So man, the day is starting to turn. The day is starting to turn. Just keep on going. Actually, what I'm fishing here is a little Ohio River special, which is the good old Zoom speed crawl. I got it on a 1/4 ounce weight, so it's a very compact, light setup. And I'm also dyeing the tails of this with chartreuse. So it's just a very little bait. And this is, like I said, it's an Ohio River special because when you fish real high pressure systems, like this little bait can be a really good little flipping bait. So now, even though I got this a pretty light, compact bait, you know, I'm still throwing it on pretty heavy line. I'm actually throwing it currently on what I would consider my grass flipping setup. If you guys watched my video on a lake up in New York, I use this setup a lot, and it's actually a 30-pound braid, a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader. And I don't usually love this setup around wood because I don't love that braid to leader knot going through the wood. But in this case, this wood is all pretty shallow enough that knot's really not getting into the wood at all. So I don't really have to worry too much about the knot itself. And plus I just wanted I kind of wanted to keep the setup that I had got bid on so much earlier today. I kind of wanted to keep that setup on my rod. I just wanted to try something new, kind of have a backup thing, and so that's what I'm doing right now. When you use that braid to fluorocarbon kind of setup, you can kind of typically go with a lot lighter power and action rod. Especially, you know, this rod's a 7-foot 1 inch. It's actually made for a buzz bait, but it's perfect when I'm kind of doing this finesse flipping right now, because it's just so small. It doesn't feel like I'm overpowering the bait by any means. This are you. Let's go. All right, guys, bam, number 4. I think this is gonna give us our goal weight of 11. So I'm super pumped that I don't have to eat gas station food, but we got to get 5. We can't leave the day without getting 5. So we definitely got to get 5. That's a 231. Man, I thought it would be kind of hard, you know, judging by the tournaments that I've had. And maybe it is, I'm just kind of, you know, I got 12, I mean, I got a couple of nice fish. So 12 pounds with those 4, and we get one more, then it'll be a good day, especially for summertime fishing. So gosh, I'm pumped though. It's a solid little fish right there. About an hour and a half ago, I was like really low. I even told you guys on the camera, I was low. I felt out of it. I had lost like a bunch of fish, and just goes to show you, man, stay positive, keep going, and you can just run into a little section where maybe you catch 1, 2. I mean, we've caught, I think that's our 4th fish, our 3rd keeper in a couple 100-yard section, and we still have probably another couple 100 yards. So I'm just gonna fish this on through, and we'll see what's bite. I got to get number 5. Maybe we'll call up even. I'm really pumped though. Let's go. There's number 5. Woo. Oh my gosh. Damn. There's number 5. Gosh. We've been fishing for 4 hours and 50 minutes. So we got about another hour to go in my challenge, but I got another 2.5 hour drive ahead of me before bringing you guys some more content tomorrow. So I might get on the road, or I might just keep fishing. I don't know. That fish weighs 213, which puts us at a little over 14 pounds, 14.25 pounds for the day. Solid bag. I would have been, I mean, it's August and we're in the South. I'm gonna let that fish go. And honestly, I thought 11 pounds would be pretty hard to achieve. And we got a couple of the right bites. I mean, we got that 4 pounder, another 3, almost 3.5 pounder. So those help a lot. But it's just a fun day. You know, I decided when I got here that I wasn't going to target the offshore stuff. There's a lot of offshore structure. When I've been here in the past, I fished a lot of offshore structure, but it was gonna, you know, with 6-hour time frame, which is probably just gonna take too long to find fish. And so anyways, I decided let's just go beat the banks. And man, I'm really pumped about that. With the struggle of the day that it was, to be able to come away with 14 pounds, I can't tell you that. Well, I'm just pretty excited. I'm pumped about it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you can stay positive the next time that you're out there and struggling, because I know that I was struggling bad today earlier, and I wish I would have seen some of those fish that I lost, but in the end we hit our weight. We actually got a decent bag, and now we get to go to the next lake. So guys, if you guys enjoy the lake break videos, I'm gonna leave my latest one right here. So if you enjoyed this, you will like this one. Don't forget to check out the fin fishing gear, and I will see you guys in the next one.